going on, guys? Today I'm going to bring to you a review on my 2022 Honda CRF300L. I've got about 750 miles on this thing now, and I'm pretty happy with its performance. It's a good bang for the buck when you're looking at bikes. I got this coming into it being new to the dual sport world. I've ridden a few dirt bikes beforehand, but I've never had anything that is road capable. So I'd like to break this into a road category and a off-road category. I couldn't be happier with this thing as far as road performance. The engine and the transmission are paired great together. They run really smooth. I don't really feel any vibrations. Right around 5,000 to 6,000 RPMs when it was new and still in the braking period. It did have a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a knock, but it had kind of a weird noise. And after I got through the braking period, that's kind of gone away now. I no longer hear that. It seems like it's got plenty of power. The power really comes in about 7,000 RPM, and it'll make you smile going down the road. The suspension works really well as far as soaking up the bumps on the road, and it creates a smooth ride. The seat is pretty comfortable. After about 3 or 4 hours, it's time for a break to stand up and walk around a little bit, but it's not too bad. Now for the off-road portion, again, I'm really happy with the powertrain engine transmission combination. I do wish it was geared just a little bit lower from factory for off-road, but that's not a big deal. You can switch out some of your cogs here. The suspension, on the other hand, is a different story off-road. I'm sure, like you've seen with many other reviewers, they're dogging on the suspension. It's good for light off-roading, kind of gravel roads, smooth dirt roads with a little bit of just a little bit of features on it. This past weekend I went riding on the Spearhead Trails in St. Paul, Virginia, and there's some gravelly sections, some larger gravel sections on the trail, and with any kind of speed at all, the forks cannot keep up with the beating that the road surface gives it, and it can't keep the front wheel on the ground. It makes it almost uncontrollable. And then as far as going over whoops and that kind of features, the rear suspension will basically throw you off of it if you're sitting down on the seat. It does not have enough damping capability. The tires off-road are fairly decent. The biggest thing that I had issues with is the front tire. If it's slightly wet or kind of a sticky mud, it'll kind of want to move out on you, which is no fun. And when you're going up pretty decent hills in a hill climb, if a rock kicks out from under you in your rear tire, the stock rear tire just does not have the grip to get you moving again. You'll just start spinning and end up choking the bike out. Now, for weight off-road, I did drop this thing a couple of times this past weekend when I was riding on some steeper hills, and I believe this thing's between 320 and 340 pounds, and it was about all I would really care to pick up on the hills like that. It's very uncontrollable trying to keep it from sliding back down as you pick it up, and that's coming from me, a 6'1", 230 pound guy. So that's something to keep in mind. It did really well handling the drops that I had. I did bend my clutch lever. I've got some parts ordered, and I ripped the grip for my throttle, but other than that, no damage. All my turn signals are still intact. I did untwist the mirror here, but all that really took was retightening it. So things that I have planned to do to this bike, I definitely plan on upgrading. I'm planning on going with the K-Tech suspension that they have come out with for this thing. I think it's going to be a great upgrade, and I'm planning on also upgrading my tires to the Dunlop D606s. So when I do that, I will definitely give you an update on those upgrades. Alright, so one more bit of damage that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the suspension. I don't know if it's just this bike or if it's something that is supposed to happen. After my riding this past weekend, I have noticed that my bike sits about 1.5 inches lower than it used to. I don't know if that's spring settling or what's going on, but that is another thing to consider. I did buy this bike because of the seat height. It's tall enough for me, and it's kind of, after the settling, it's kind of lost a little bit of ground clearance, and it's not quite as tall as I would like it to be, which is another reason I am planning on upgrading to the K-Tech suspension.